program are those of the speakers and the host and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, party people. Welcome inside a Tuesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you as always, and joined by Mr. Ty Bartell, who's not wearing black or red, so I'm kind of thrown off. What's this gray stuff we're throwing out?
It's always most of the gray stuff I think I own are all YSN branded stuff. It's actually the basketball All-Star game
There
too.
you go. Hey, speaking of
Wearing
All-Star
it-
games,
I'm wearing it because I'm excited, and that's why.
the clock's ticking on our All-Star games. We have one, two, if we count today, I guess. I don't know. Do you count today when it's noon?
I think you're about half day. You got to go half, right? Because this is like the midway point of the day for most people.
4.5 days to the baseball game, 5.5 days to the softball game. So clock's ticking, dude. In the elms of Michelangelo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I'm excited because this is the first one I'll get to be a part of for the baseball softball side of things.
You know, you had to miss that because you were doing something pretty important last year.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's crazy too. And that means that's not only a year for that, but it's a year coming up on us for Running Point, and it's been another year where we're going to have another All-Star game for the baseball softball scene. It's so exciting too, and I always love this time of the year when we have a chance to celebrate all of our All-Stars.
Does that mean your anniversary is going to be celebrated by the All-Star game?
Running Point anniversary follows it because it was like first day of August, I think, is when.
That was your honeymoon, right? Oh yeah, we did. I forgot we did the All-Star games a little bit later in the summer last year, didn't we?
I think so.
We did like the baseball one in the middle of July, and then we did the softball one like a couple of weeks later, I think.
I think so. I'm pretty sure the first day we had Running Point where I came on was beginning of August. So I think that if everything lines up, that would make sense too, because I think our baseball All-Star game was around this time last year.
I am almost certain that we
started running. You're right, Anthony. It was actually later. You're right, because it had to have been in July.
Oh yeah,
that was the reason I missed it, because it was in July. I think
you were getting married, and that's I think the first day of running, and I have it on my calendar, so I'm pretty sure this is right, unless I messed up back in August. August 4th is our Running Point debut.
All right,
August 4th was the first show that Running Point started its new era, and then you came on the next week. So I think your debut with both of us was August 9th, that Monday.
August 9th. I knew it was like beginning of August, so we're approaching that too, and that's always fun. And this is our first summer, and with that, we're going to continue going into interviews as well. We got Rafe Bonifay that's going to be coming on the show today from Prospects 18U, as that 18U division is still heating up, man. Some great games we're seeing every single night from them.
Rafe is a bona fide superstar.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
The puns are mighty.
Yeah, that should be fun too. 12:30 coming up for that one too, as we get into the Prospects.
We were gonna have Joey Fazone today. Unfortunately, he had to reschedule. So did Anthony Miller. So we were gonna have a pretty packed show today. Anthony Miller has moved to tomorrow at 1:15, right after Brian Tomar from Astros 18U. Joey Fazone from the Avalanche 18U team is yet to reschedule a submitted date, but we are going to have him on soon. So I know we promoted those two guys yesterday before the show was over. But sometimes, especially in the summer, life gets in the way a little bit. So they had to reschedule. We'll have Anthony Miller from 18U Astro Falcons tomorrow at 1:15, and Joey Fazone at a date to be determined very soon.
Yep. And we're definitely excited to bring both of those guys on too. And we get to go into a little bit of the Avalanche and the Astro of 18U as well too. So two other teams and two divisions that we have yet to really go into a little bit.
You want to go into the results from last night in 18U Class B since we're on the topic?
Boy, what some games we had last night too that shook some things up, huh?
They were pretty. Yeah, they were all pretty competitive. Only two scores really got kind of lopsided. One of them was the Astro Falcons, who they've flexed their muscles ever since that close game against Nightline last week. They continue to do that. 10-0, they beat the Prospects. And when we go to a high-scoring affair between the Athletics and Eagle Warriors, Athletics came away with the 10-6 win. We'll move on to the Avalanche, who Joey Fazone is a part of that team. They won over Dura Edge 5-4, and this was a game tie yesterday that we said was a real important one in the middle of those standings.
No doubt, and I mean 5-4, another close one, and unfortunate for Dura Edge to drop this close one to the Avalanche. And credit the Avalanche too, just kept on picking away. Dura Edge grabbed an early 5-2 lead, but then bottom of the fourth, Avalanche took a run back. It was 5-3. Bottom of the fifth, took a run back. It was 5-4. Bottom of the 4-4, excuse me. Bottom of the sixth.
We're way off, by the way.
Took that extra run, and it was 5-4.
Look at this. We are way off. We thought, it was. I don't know why it felt later in the summer, but it wasn't, because the softball All-Star game was June 27th, and the baseball one was June 13th.
Yeah. So we don't know.
Wrong.
We don't know at all what we're talking about. Don't listen to us on dates, and yeah. We need the advisory to say that at the beginning of the show. Now, don't
These
listen.
guys are total jackanos and can be wrong at any given time.
Yeah. Please do not listen to us.
No, we promise we're right on these recaps. We are right with these scores.
Yeah, absolutely. Avalanche, though, 3 runs in 3 consecutive innings in the 4th, 5th, and 6th, respectively, to take that 5-4 lead, and they closed it out in order. Jared Boyer went 6 innings, though, for Avalanche, and only gave up 1 earned run. He gave up 4, but only one of them earned, struck out 8, allowed 3 hits, and allowed 6 hits and only 3 walks, too. So a really solid outing, too, and one of those just battled through the entire game, battled through a good lineup, and came out on top going 6 innings, a nice quality start for him.
Yeah, and like we said yesterday, the Avalanche kind of needed this win to kind of keep themselves in the upper tier of the standings, and seeding becomes important as we head towards the end of the regular season. And both these teams were in that top tier of the standings, so getting the win kind of solidifies Avalanche's spot in that top. I think it's top 4. I would say top tier is top 4.
Yeah, I would say so as well. And they got themselves nestled into that 3rd spot now at 11-7 on the season. So having themselves a fine year so far are the Avalanche. And hey, you just need a seat at the table, right? And get yourself a nice seat, and who knows what could happen.
We'll continue the scores. Ballistic Baseball put on an absolute gun show. And that is pun intended, because, ballistic guns, who knows. 9-0, they get the win over Whiting. And, man, their offense was not to be messed with.
TJ Border went 4 for 4 in this game, too. And, I mean, you had him at the 2-hole, too. And we're seeing a lot of that, too. And we saw it at the major league levels, but we're also seeing it now, high school levels. So you're putting your best average bat at that 2 spot now instead of that 3 spot. We're seeing a lot of lineups incorporate that. Guys that just get on base, that can hit those extra base hits and bring runs in. And, hey, we saw a big case of that, too. A 4 for 4 day. It doesn't happen too often in baseball. When it does, you tip your cap. That's a fine day for him.
I've said it before. I like in baseball and softball, because you see it, like you said, in professionals, but in college and high school as well. The old school idea of a leadoff hitter has kind of gone away. There aren't too many teams that just put a guy that's fast at the top of the lineup and just say he'll get on base. Now it's kind of like you put one of your best hitters at the top, because, in my opinion, it says you start off the game by setting the tone. The pitcher doesn't want to lead off an inning by walking somebody. So I think you put one of your best hitters in the top, because then it makes it even harder to pitch around that guy. So you see a lot of teams make the decision to put one of their best average hitters right at the top of that lineup per se, not not necessarily their fastest base runner or maybe not their best on base percentage guy, but the average guy or the power guy, top.
Also want to shout out too on the mound, Dawson Morrow went ballistic as his pitches were rolling off the Whiting bats as he went 7 innings, allowed only 5 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts, and a shutout affair too. And when you get pitching like that, any kind of offense provided is helpful too. But when you put up 9 runs, I mean, it's almost too easy then for them when they're feeling it like that and they have that much confidence on the mound. When you spot them 6 runs, 7, 8, 9-run lead. Oh, pitchers with confidence, dangerous.
All too easy. No, but when you can put together pitching and offense in the same game, that's a coach's dream, right? And that's what the Astro Falcons did as well. Not only did they score 10 runs in their offense, humming on all cylinders last night, their pitching was right there on point. So pitching plus hitting equals domination.
Does Astro ever really miss beats on pitching? Because it feels like they don't.
No, you can't say never because they had that 11-10 loss to Nightline, but it's very, very, very rare.
Tino Campoli too has been on some sort of tear with Astro as a pitcher that can rake for certain. Went 5 innings because that's all Astro needed to get the victory. Allowed only 2 hits, walked 2, struck out 3. So a very good pitch to contact type pitcher. 67 pitches to get through those 5 innings. So a very, very nice, efficient pitch count too to go through 5.
That's just over 13 pitches per?
Just about, yeah.
If my head math is right.
Yeah, because
I think I'm right. Just over 13.
Just about, yeah. It's like 13 and some odd change, but that's an efficient start too. I mean, that means you're going about 4 to 5 pitches per batter. That means you're getting them out with efficiency.
And that's sometimes you see that in not the high strikeout count because obviously guys are going after the first or second pitch, and that makes it easier to lessen your pitch count if you don't have to throw, 6 pitches per batter to strike them out.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, a nice start by Tino Campoli too, as like I said, continuing to tear it up. The young man is this season, as he's even batting out of his mind right now as well on this season. I think his average is 571 right now too. So when I say a pitcher that can rake, I mean it.
The whole Astros team is out of their mind right now. Let's not single out Tino. I mean, it's all just really, really good. We have some more scores to get to from Class B last night as we talked about Ballistic and Whiting. But how about Nightline? We talked about them in depth a little bit yesterday and saying that they're a team that can beat anybody. They proved it 5-4. They get the upset over Creekside. They squared up the season series. It is now tied with both teams getting a win in that second matchup of the year. And they throw a monkey wrench into that standings because Creekside was trying to keep pace. And now I think they're going to be 3 losses back behind Astro Falcons.
Nightline did it in a difficult way, too. How about this? Creekside, being the home team, got a 2-run lead in the bottom of the first inning, and they held that 2-0 lead all the way until the bottom of the 5th, where they added 2 more runs late to make it 4-0. Nightline scores 3 in the top of the 6th, 2 in the top of the 7th to take a 5-4 lead and win it overall. That's one of the hardest things to do to make that comeback in that short amount of time. They got a fire lit under them, and boy, oh boy, did they put some offense together at the right time and drew some walks and also forced only 1 error from Creekside. This was a really clean game. 6 hits on both sides, only 1 error in the ball game from Creekside's side of things too. Nightline drew 5 walks though in the order, or 8, correction, 8 walks in the order, and I think that's the biggest difference for Nightline too, getting a lot of those guys just on base late in the innings.
If Class B kept track of win probability, up 4-0 after 5 innings, your win probability would be pretty high. So that you always see that nowadays on ESPN. They're like, "Oh, the win percentage was up at 95% at this point of the game, and they still came back." It would be one of those kind of comebacks if you're down 4-0 after 5 innings of play in a 7-inning game. I mean, not easy to score 5 in 2 innings, and that's what Nightline did.
Tag teamed in this effort too on the mound for Nightline. Gavin Trum goes 3 innings, allows only 1 hit, 1 walk, strikes out 3. we know him too, JFK product. Jack Knight from Fitch too. We know him from, went 4 innings to follow when gave up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, walked 2, struck out 2. So tag teaming those 2 pitchers for Nightline. And how about these guys too? Bottom of the order really came up big for Nightline as well. Mikey Shortino batting in the 9 hole went 1 for 1 with 1 for 1 with 3 walks and an RBI. And I mean, that's a guy getting on base 4 times, turning it over to the top, and that's what you love too from that bottom of the order. It's just circular offense. Then
That's the thing. I mean, this Nightline team has some names, and I think their struggles at the beginning of the year, like some of the other teams, they were waiting for those names to kind of get on their roster because of the success they had in their high school season. So names like Gavin Strum are now on this roster and make it a lot more competitive, and make Nightline a lot more dangerous.
yeah, and then turn it over to the top of the order where we talk about Mikey Shortino getting on base. Another guy we know from Howland, Anthony Masucci, goes 3 for 4 out of the 3 spot in the order, scores 2 runs himself, drives in 1 as well. So that's what you get. You get guys on base for the top of the order and timely hits to follow. And what Nightline's been getting is just enough in the pitching department to get these victories.
Is Anthony Masucci good? Is that good?
I think it's pretty good, if I'd say so.
Oh man, like that, he's one of those just all around athletes that just like feel like if you put any kind of sport in his hand, he would find a way to be good at it.
He just usually does as well, doesn't he? I mean, he had a triple in this game. Mikey Shortino had a double to round things out for the extra base hits on that side for Nightline. But nice win for Nightline overall, as they prove once again they could beat anybody, even the top teams in 18U.
You look at their 2 games against the Astro Falcons were 11-10 win and a 4-3 loss. So once again, like Nightline is going to be very dangerous when the playoffs come around because they're not going to be like a top tier seed. Their record's not there, but have proven time and time again that they can beat anybody, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that they can, upset people and get to that final.
Like you said, Anthony, too, that last Astro matchup, too, in 18U is going to be interesting because how Astro plays Nightline that third time around is going to determine a lot. Because right now, I'm looking at what Nightline did. They've proven that they can go toe-to-toe in a shootout with Astro, and they proved that they can go in a pitcher's duel with Astro as well. Obviously, they didn't come out on top, but they've proven that they can compete in a pitcher's duel as well. So I think right now, Nightline's feeling very momentumous, I guess you would say, if that's even a word.
Momentumous? I would just say
feeling the momentum, just feeling the momentum, I guess. But feeling the momentum going into the end and latter part of this season, because right now, another win against Creekside, which I think was sitting number 2 in the division going into this one, that's another big win for them.
And it's a big loss for Creekside because they were still sitting at that realm of possibility where they could catch Astro. It wasn't out of the realm of possibility. They were 2 losses away, 2 games back, but now 3 games back of a team like Astro Falcons. That's a big mountain to climb.
And Nightline was a team that just a few days ago was 5-10, sitting towards the bottom half of the standings. I think they were 8th overall in the game, 8th in out of a 10-team division, 8th overall when I called their game just a few days ago. Now they're all the way up to 8-10 on the season. They're sitting at 6th, and they're looking at cracking into that top 5 with 3 teams being 9-9 in front of them in Ballistic, Athletics, and Dura Edge. But with the schedule that Nightline has in front of them too, I don't see it as an impossibility for Nightline either, because they have all these teams on their schedule as well. You got one more game with Astro. It's all in front of Nightline to kind of make of their season what they can, right, and kind of get themselves a good seed. They've propelled themselves to this part already, and they started off with Ballistic or Whiting, then Ballistic, and then Athletics back to back to back. So got to beat them to jump them, right?
So let's go over the standings, the full standings, as after another night of results come in. Astro Falcons, they still stand in the 1 spot. They are 16-1. Creekside, they are sitting at 2, still pretty solidified in that. They're 3 games ahead in 2nd place as they have a 14-4 record. Avalanche gets the win to secure that spot in the 3 hole as they are 11-7. Ballistic Baseball is now moving up the standings at 4th. They are 9-9, and then right behind them is Athletics, who is also 9-9, and then again at 9-9 is Dirt Edge. So you have a log jam sitting there at fourth with 3 teams tied at the 9-9 record.
Yeah, and I mean, you got one more game with Dura Edge, one more game with Athletics. Those are the only 2 teams left that.
But really look at this. It makes it interesting because Nightline is sitting at 8-10, which is just 1 game back of the 3 teams that are in fourth place. So Nightline could easily make the jump from 6th to 4th, 5th, wherever. I'm sorry, of 7th. They're 7th right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're 7th. So they could easily make the jump from 7th to 4th, 5th, or 6th really quick.
No doubt, no doubt. And looking at it, you play Dirt Edge once, you play Athletics, you play Ballistic, you play Avalanche. You got to play all these teams one more time. They've already beaten the top 3 teams at least once that are in the standing in Astro, Creekside, and Avalanche this season. You got the teams in the middle of the pack now that if you're able to beat them, you can jump them going into the postseason.
Prospects is sitting at 8th with the 5-12 record, and then Whiting and Eagleware are both tied at 4-14 at the 9 and 10th spot. So those are the complete 18U standings after another night of results. Tonight is 16U night at Bobstein Park, and we're going to see some more great action from 16U Class B baseball.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at those games a little bit later in the show, too, and previewing what we're going to be having on the docket. But 16U standings in both divisions still pretty interesting as things are winding down. But we're going to see what's to come for some of these teams as they try to close out their 2 divisions.
All right, so let's look at the next day of games for 18U since we know the standings now. They'll be back in action tomorrow. And Nightline will play Whiting, which is another opportunity for Nightline to get another win. As we said, they are right on the cusp of getting to that 4th, 5th, 6th place spot as they are 1 game back of all 3 of those teams. Creekside plays Prospects as they look to bounce back from the loss. Dura Edge will play Athletics as that game will be on. Those 3 games in order will be on Scene 1, Scene 2, Scene 3 at 5:30. Your 8 o'clock games are going to be Astro Falcons and Avalanche, which might be a pretty good matchup at 8 o'clock on Scene 1. And then on Scene 3, you're going to have Eagleware taking on Ballistic Baseball. So it's going to be interesting. That day, you got a lot of teams with, quote-unquote games that I hate to, but they should win. They're winnable games on paper. Class B baseball, everyone's talented, so you can't take anything for granted. But a lot of these teams that are trying to get wins and stay in their spot in the standings have games against teams that are below them that they have to win.
And they're easy teams. I mean, those are games too where you can look over opponents sometimes too, and looking ahead of another matchup. But any of these teams are good enough to beat you, and they've proven that time and time again. Look at the records. Everyone's got to win in 18U with good reason. Look at the talent on everyone.
Avalanche has had a big test because they're obviously playing the Astro Falcons, and they're sitting at 3rd right now. But like we said, Ballistic is right behind them. So is Athletics. So is Dura Edge, all at 9-9. So they can't afford to stumble, even though they're playing the top team. So it's a great opportunity for one and all of those teams that are tied at 4th to kind of jump Avalanche and take that 3rd place spot.
Yeah, and Avalanche has that ability right now, being 2 games ahead. They kind of control their destiny too, and where they can be ranked. And being a top 3 team is definitely beneficial for them. They want to hold on to that spot, but there's a lot of teams hungry to try to get them down in the standings so that way they can jump them.
So I think that'll be interesting. I think you look at the game schedules for Wednesday and compare them to the standings. I would say the most intriguing game for me is going to be Dura Edge and Athletics because they're both tied at 9-9. So the winner of that game is going to have a little bit more of a foothold in that 4 to 6 ranked teams. Everyone tied at 9-9 right now. So Dura Edge versus Athletics, both teams 9-9. Whoever wins that game, they have a leg up.
And Nightline's sitting there too with an 8-10 record, knowing that one of them's got to lose, knowing that if we win now, we're going to be tied with another team and a chance to jump another one.
It's going to be really important for Nightline to not let off the gas pedal against the teams that are below them now. They've proven they can beat the teams ahead of them. They've been good against the really good teams. But sometimes you see that tie, it gets you really confident, and then all of a sudden you sleep on the teams that are below you a little bit and you don't play to your potential. And then this big rally that they're having, winning, I think, the last 3, kind of goes away.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, you can definitely sleep on some opponents in certain cases. So you got to avoid that too. You can't get too high on those wins.
Yeah, so they'll have Whiting on scene 1 at 5:30 on Wednesday, and they will need to take care of business against a team that is, of course, below them in the standings.
But a big win if Nightline's able to pull it off, it'll be a big win for them in the standings. As we know, too, Astro is one of those cases where they're tearing it up, but you never know what could happen end of the season. Anyone could beat anyone down there.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to bring up a member of the Prospects 18U team, and it is going to be Rafe Bonifay. He'll join us live on Running Point as soon as I get this background to match. There we go, and then we'll pop him in. Rafe, thank you so much for joining us today on Running Point.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
I wanted to talk about this nice season you're having. You're typically batting top of the order too when I see you in these lineups, and you're doing a heck of a job drawing walks, on base percentage over 400. What's your kind of approach like at the plate and being able to draw as many walks as you do while having as many hits as you do?
Well, being leadoff batter, I really like to run up the count, kind of get the pitcher to really try to give me something that I want at the at bat. I mean, I'm looking for one pitch and one pitch only really when I'm at bat. But I mean, it's just trying to find that pitch, and if I don't like it, I'm not going to swing at it. I mean, I'm trying to see the pitches that coming in as best as I can. I mean, I really don't like to chase a lot of pitches. I mean, I've always done that because I bat leadoff for high school too, and my on base percentage was over 500 in high school too. So I mean, I had quite a few walks there too. So that's just kind of how I approach the plate when I go up. Is if it's not what I'm looking for, I'm just simply not going to swing at it.
As a leadoff hitter, how much do you like the fact that you get to set the tone in the game to lead off an inning? Like you get to be the one that decides whether or not this offense is going to get started or not.
I love it. I love being the start of the energetic inning and getting things started off and getting the intense inning going.
You also have that unique ability when you're the leadoff guy because you're the first one that sees the opposing pitcher. So I'm sure a lot of people have questions for you. How do you kind of take that leadership position and how do you kind of feed it back through your team about what a pitcher's throwing, what to look for, and make sure that offense does get its motors running?
Yeah, for sure. As soon as I go back in the dugout, if I happen to strike out or I get out on the bases or just after I score, I go in and make sure to tell everybody what he's looking like, what he's throwing, where he's placing his pitches, what off speed he has, what it's looking like, if he's hanging or a lot of dirt, high or low, because a lot of pitchers, I mean, it's different up here from where I'm used to playing. A lot of pitchers have a lot of different how they release the ball and stuff and how they throw it in there. I mean, it's a lot quicker sometimes, a lot slower. It comes at you a lot different. So just letting the guys know as soon as I get in there how it's looking. So,
do you find any differences or is it harder to be kind of a leader of this team in the summer ball setting than it was for your high school team?
We just have so many great athletes on the summer ball team and so many great players and so many kids who are already leaders for their own team. So it just kind of helps build up our team, just having so many leaders and stuff on the team already. There's not really one specific leader. We all just kind of feed into each other. So it's awesome, honestly, being a part of this and having the opportunity to come up and play.
Being the leadoff hitter, too, you have had an opportunity to see a lot of pitchers, a lot of talent, too. You get a lot of at-bats. In your baseball journey, what was one of the toughest pitches you had to adapt to be able to hit, to, or which one did you really struggle with in your younger years?
Honestly, the curveball in my younger years. I could not get the hang of hitting the curveball. I don't know why. It was just such a struggle to sit back and wait on the curveball and adjust to it and see it out of the hand and see the spin of the laces coming at me. So, honestly, the curveball has probably been my most struggle. But I've really been working on that a lot. So, but yeah.
We'll stay on that road of questions. Well, I'm going to ask, who's the hardest pitcher you faced in your career? Like the guy that you faced and it's like, oh, man, this guy.
Bito Cheese off of the Astros is by far the hardest pitcher I've ever seen. And that was this year.
What is the difficulties about him? Like, go in depth for us as like a batter. What's the difficulties about stepping into a box and facing an arm like that?
Well, oh, lefty. First of all, lefty is probably the first big thing of mine. He throws. He has a pretty good fastball, so just the speed obviously is a big factor coming out of a left hand. He works really fast. He doesn't take a lot of time to like let the batter get ready or anything or get settled. He really works the batter fast and doesn't let you get settled. And his off speed is different. Something I have not got to experience before coming up here and stuff. So it was a big change coming up here and stuff. So it was awesome. But by far that's the most difficult I've seen.
You get all your teammates get the advantage of having you to tell them that because you're the first one that sees a pitcher. You don't have anyone telling you in the beginning of the game, this is what this guy's got. You don't have a hope. I don't know how much of a scouting report you get in Class B. It might not be a in-depth scouting report, but I mean, you have to kind of make adjustments on the fly. What's that like?
Honestly, I really pay attention when he's warming up, like when the inning's about to start and I get to see him warming up and stuff, see how he's throwing and stuff before the inning starts. But I mean, obviously it's a lot different when you're in the box and stuff. But honestly, my approach, I see a pitch before I start my bat. So it's either a ball or a strike. I mean, I have to live with that. Either I start 1-0 or 0-1 and then I got to battle from there. But I like to see a pitch. I like to see how he comes about that. So.
Have you ever had the first pitch like it's so sweet you can't avoid swinging at it, and you do?
Yes. It's bad sometimes. I really regret it, but I'm like, I just kind of think to myself, man, why did I do that? Because I know I won't get another pitch like that, especially since he's a head first pitch.
We talk about the tough pitchers that you've faced and some of the struggles you've had, but let's look at some of the success you've had now. What is the biggest hit in your mind, or some of the biggest hits? You could shout out a couple that you've had in your baseball career.
I've never hit a home run in my career, so I can't say a home run. I've always just been a contact hitter, really. I like to left center, gap, and right center. I've really been working right center this year, but I had a double over the center fielder's head this year in Class B, so that was probably one of the biggest things I've done, probably one of the farthest balls I've ever hit.
Have you ever had it inside the park home run, back in Little League?
Yeah, I've had a lot of those, but just I've never hit a home run.
Always count.
To kind of further that question, what's the biggest like in-game hit you've had, clutch hit that you've ever had in your baseball career? Or shout out a couple of those.
Definitely travel ball when I was younger. I've definitely had a few game-winning shots. A couple walk-offs have been awesome. Just killed singles and then everybody running at you. I mean, it's awesome. Going to we were in the semifinals and 2 outs and runner on third, and I laid down a squeeze actually, and it was awesome. That was probably one of the biggest things I've done. Or last year as a sophomore, to advance to districts. Yeah. I hit a left center shot, scored a run, got to advance to the district semifinals. So that was awesome.
All those were great memories. What is your proudest achievement as an athlete so far in your career?
I actually got first team IVC this year in my league. So that was probably the biggest achievement I've had so far in my baseball career. As the travel ball, we've won state 2 times in the USSSA. So
that's pretty awesome too.
Yeah.
Out of all the fields that you've played on, what's your favorite baseball field that you've ever gotten a chance to play on?
Ripken. We went down to the Ripken experience, and those fields are just different down there. Those are so amazing.
Did you get a chance to kind of just take it all into when you were standing there? And I mean, just talk about that experience when you first got to step on and really take in that you're playing baseball there.
It was just a different atmosphere down there. I mean, just everybody down there was just ready to play and wanting to play. I mean, it was just awesome. I mean, it was different down there. You can't get that same feeling here in Ohio as you are in the Carolinas. It's awesome.
Well, you get to play in one of the best facilities in the state of Ohio every week in the summer in Class B baseball at Bobseen Park. What is your favorite thing about playing at Bobseen and being able to call that your home for the summer?
Honestly, just the opportunity to play there has been amazing. I really didn't think I was going to get to this year, and then getting to play there 5 days a week is just awesome. because I actually live 2 hours away from the park, so just coming up every day, 5 days a week is just awesome.
And with that kind of dedication to that, I mean, that's impeccable too. That you put that kind of dedication to the park. I mean, you gotta love the teammates, the coaching staff that's there too. And I see all the personalities that are on this team, and I know it's probably a madhouse in that dugout. What's some of the favorite teammates on this team too that have really gotten you to laugh this season?
I've actually being far away, but I've actually become close to a lot of the kids. There's Rob Gumino, Andrew Krilla, Ethan Prout, Brandon Popio, Gino Lazzari. I mean, those AJ Stahl Smith. I mean, those guys really really helped me through this journey of coming up 2 hours away and helping me through the season so far. I mean, they've been there. I feel like we are friends. I mean, pretty close with them. We all have the same mindset going into the game and stuff, so it's pretty awesome.
So you get a 2-hour trip. What's your favorite thing to do in that 2-hour car ride? Do you like to jam, or are you more of a silent car ride to get your mind right?
You know, I take a nap about the first hour and a half, then I put my headphones on the other half hour and get ready to go.
He gets that pregame nap and
Heck yeah.
So is that because of the pregame meal, or is the postgame meal the bigger one? And if so, what's the go-to for that meal?
Stop by Cane's for sure, 100% on my way home.
Is it the Caniac combo? Do you go big or go home, or you just stay standard with like the box combo?
Honestly, I say standard with the 4-piece strip.
Is it lemonade, tea, or you go pop?
Tea for sure.
Tea. I go tea there as well. That sauce though, something else.
100%.
It's perfect.
Well, that brings up, because they have the crinkle fries, and I know there's a big fast food industry war on who has the best fries. For your opinion, who has the best fries in the fast food industry?
Oh man, you know, I really don't eat fast food that much, but it's either McDonald's or Wendy's. Honestly, I'd have
That's
to
a
say.
healthy answer. That we all applaud.
both very quality answers. Looking at to get I guess on track with baseball or with life in general too. Out of the great minds that you've had a chance to be around, what's some really good advice that you've had that's stuck with you throughout your life?
There's always somebody out there better than you, and there's always somebody working when you aren't. I mean, that's probably some of the best advice I've ever gotten. I mean, you've got to want to be better than the person better than you. So you've got to outwork that person every day.
You know, we're not born with that work ethic. So where did yours kind of come from, and what kind of gave you that drive to work as hard as you do?
My dad. My dad, 100%. He gives me that drive every single day, just being there and telling me I need to do it if I want to get to my goal. He's always been so supportive of me and trying to help me reach my goal because he knows what I want to do and he doesn't want to see me fail. He doesn't want me to live with regret. So 100% him, and just being around him and his friends. I mean, because he was a bodybuilder and just all those guys, I mean, they all just tell me, I mean, there's always somebody out there better than you and always somebody out there working more than you. So you just got to try to be better than them too. So 100% him.
Was it your dad that got you into the sport, and where did that love kind of start?
No, my dad did not play sports in high school. He has no clue about baseball. He tells me that every day. And I don't know. I just kind of started playing when I was younger and then just kind of fell in love with it since then. And just I was never serious about baseball until this past couple years. And I've just kind of found the love for baseball and wouldn't change it for anything.
Are there any funny stories where your dad, says something wrong and that like baseball fans think is elementary, that like he calls it points instead of runs or something like that, where he has to run the game?
My mom doesn't let him talk too much because she doesn't want him to sound like that. No, they usually don't sit close to anybody just in case he does say something like that.
What does like everyone has? What is his passion? What does he do for a living?
My mom and dad actually run a gym down here where we live. I mean, that's what they do. They've been doing that since they've been young. Since they're personal trainers, actually. They are nutritionists and personal trainers. So
that's got to be a big advantage for you to be able to go home and have a personal trainer, 2 personal trainers at your disposal whenever you want them.
It really is. It's really beneficial, especially with the gym close and having them with so much knowledge. It it's definitely a game changer for that.
Does it ever get like I don't want to say annoying, but frustrating? Like you want a milkshake or something. They're like, well, maybe that's not the most nutritious thing for you to have at this point.
Sometimes it's kind of like I kind of just got to go out myself and get it, and then just kind of throw it away before I get home.
He's gotta go grab. I love it. What are some of the future plans then, man? What are some of the plans when you're out of high school too? What's some of the goals afterwards?
I mean, the goal and the dream is go to college and play baseball, and then I really can't determine what happens from there. But that is the goal and the dream right now, to go play at the next level in the college, at college, wherever that takes me. Hopefully.
Do you have a preference on whether or not you want to travel far away from home, or if you want to kind of stay close to home for college?
Honestly, I don't have a preference. I really don't. Because either way, I mean, if I go to Florida, I mean, I'm playing year round. But if I stay home, I mean, I'm close to home. I mean, if I need something, I can go home. My mom and dad could come to me. But I have no preference now.
What is the biggest selling point for you on the college? Would it be the coaching staff, the location? Like, say you have multiple offers. What's the selling point for you?
Definitely coaches and the atmosphere of the coaching staff. Yeah, 100%.
What's like on your checklist of coaches? Like, when you look at a coach, what kind of things go on your checklist, or the atmosphere that they have? What kind of things do you want to see in your future college coach?
If they're interested in me as like a person, not just as a baseball player, if they are like interested in like what my needs are and stuff, more or less out of baseball and more in school and life and stuff. I just don't want to be a baseball player to them. I mean, I want to have a relationship with them for the next 4 years and stuff too.
Do you find it beneficial to have as many coaches as you've had playing as baseball in as many areas as you've had high school travel, scene park?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I've got to talk to a lot of coaches over the years, just through every tournament that I've been to. It's pretty awesome.
We got to let you talk about the coaching staff that you have for the prospects, and why it makes it so much worth it going down there for 2 hours, going to 2 hours for every game.
The coaching staff down here it's awesome. It really is. Our coach is a great coach. He is. He really understands us as kids and players. I mean, he coaches us great every game, and he doesn't blame it all on us. He takes the blame when it's his, and he doesn't really do much wrong as a coach. I mean, he really gets us through games and really helps us through.
All right, Rafe, we don't want to keep you too long, too. We know you got a busy schedule, but before we let you go, we always like to give people a chance to kind of shout out their support system and the people that have been cheering them on the entire way.
All right, I just want to give a shout out to my mom and dad, my family, and Barbell's Gym for getting me through this and helping me get here. So,
Rafe, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We look forward to covering you for the rest of the summer on YSN, and we'll talk to you in real soon.
All right, I appreciate you guys having me here.
Thank you, brother.
Rafe Bonifay joining us on Running Point Live, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. What a great interview with that young man.
We talked to Gino Lazare the other day too, and I mean, I told you these prospects, they're full of personality, man. And I mean, we've gone into a couple of them. I can't wait till we get into some more, and it continues tomorrow. We get Olindo Pizzone from the prospects as well.
That name sounds familiar, Ty.
It is familiar too. Definitely relations, younger brother to Nicolina Pizzone, and we already know what kind of bat she carries. In her
good
hand.
Enough bat to be all state softball. That's how good of a bat she has.
Hitter. Get a chance to see Nicolina too. Go down to Bobstein Park as well before she's going off to college too. So nice to see her, and it was nice to actually formally meet her. I never actually met her in person too. So I mean, she's one of those that she absolutely just tears the cover off of the ball, and that's why she's playing next level.
Right, she'll be going to Akron to play for the Zips. Am I wrong? I might be wrong.
You might be. We'll have to double check on that. I think it's further away. I think she's going.
No. I think you're right. I got it confused. Hold on.
I think she's
all these players going to different spots. I want to get this right.
I think it's UC softball. I think
you're right. It is. So wrong. So wrong.
But yeah, she's got a bit of a
Charlottesville softball. I was thinking, but
Hey.
still, that's a great program that she's going to, and once again, the way that she hits the ball, no reason to think otherwise.
No need for us to talk about it, folks. You could find an interview with her on our YouTube page. And if you would have just hit the notification bell and subscribed, you would have already known that it's on that YouTube page.
If you would have done it, you wouldn't have missed it. And now you have to go back and search for it. So
YSN Live YouTube page and on our site too, we have the story for it. I'm sure you could still find it as well. But we did an interview with Nicolina on Running Point, and we're going to continue that too in that Pizzone family starting tomorrow with Alindo.
What a name.
I love the names of them too. And then their dad too, Lindy Pizzone. It's great.
All right. So we're going to take our first break of the day. And when we get back, we'll have more Running Point Tuesday edition on YSN, brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our family's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
Jimmy Sudman here, director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring PGA professionals, golf instruction, a players' rewards club, kids programs, and a pro shop and grill room for a memorable golf experience. Call or click to schedule your tee time at Mill Creek Golf Course.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers. From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Now is the time to think about your future. Where you want to go, what you want to be. Your future can start now at Kent State Salem or Kent State East Liverpool. We have programs that will open doors and provide opportunities for you to pursue your passion. We are affordable. We are close. You call it hometown. We call it Kent State University. Learn more at www.kent.edu/Columbiana. You belong here.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. If you missed it, we just had an interview with Rafe Bonifay from Prospects 18U. You'll be able to find that very soon on our YouTube account and our website as well. What a great interview. And we continue our highlighting of Class B baseball at Bobseen Park. Tonight will be 16U night, as we have 16U action at the ball fields as well.
Exciting to see, too, because it's going to be able to see if these teams can shake up these standings going into the second half of the season. Still a handful of games left for each team.
Yeah, you look at 16U, it's still Whiting Roloff's, world, and everyone else is living in it.
At least in that Livy division, right? It's gonna be pretty tough to try to knock them off, because the teams that were right behind them, they've been able to face and seemingly take down, as they're now 12-1, and they're sitting at least 2 games up in the loss column to the 2 teams sitting below them in the Avalanche and Creekside.
Well, they got that big win over Creekside on Sunday, 8-2, and that kind of gave them that wiggle room that they have right now.
I like that name too. Seeing it too in the Stanley Cup Finals, the Avalanche. I think that's a great name, and I want to start seeing more teams incorporate it, because the amount of snow we get here, you should just start calling some teams the Avalanche.
I think the Avalanche derived from Glacier, which used to be the program.
That sounds familiar, because I remember being younger and going to Bobseen Park. And I remember that name sounds familiar too, because I know I feel like Creekside, Astro's been there forever, but I feel like Creekside's been there a long time as well too. I remember Creekside from being younger, but Glacier sounds familiar.
I think they kind of morphed into Avalanche. I could be wrong. I'm obviously, I have only been with Class B since we started it back in a couple years ago when we started covering it full time in the summer, and my job was to be content director when we were covering it. So I'm new to the Class B thing, and I don't know the history of Class B, but I could be wrong. But I think the Glaciers kind of morphed into the Avalanche.
I like a lot of these names too. Avalanche, Ballistic is another great one. I love the name. For a baseball team.
Stanley Cup. They win the first 2 games of the series against the Tampa Bay Lightning, the reigning back-to-back champs, right? So they're up 2-0 now.
Yeah, AVs. The AVs is what they call them too. I think that's a nice nickname.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. Like when I think of AVs, I think of like the AV eater sunglasses.
Now Anthony's
or audio video. Like you already have a really cool name like the Avalanche. Why do you have to shorten it even more and call them the AVs?
Anthony's just trying to rain on people's parades.
The audio,
he's not in anything right now.
The audio video club.
Their logo is just like the cables, the RCA cables. It's just, but now
isn't there an RCA Dome somewhere? Does someone play an RCA Arena or RCA Dome?
You might be right, honestly.
Are used to?
I think there was. I don't know if it was
RCA Dome.
I think there is an RCA Dome. I want to say it was probably Indianapolis. I think that played it before. Because it was like the Hoosier Dome. I think it's RCA Dome was Indianapolis. I could be wrong, but I think it's the Colts that played in there.
No, it's not bug
me. Anthony's gonna be like, this counts towards your trivia, Ty.
Get it right now.
This is a point on the line.
But I'm taking a question. You're right. It's the Colts. RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Good call.
What is it now? It's Lucas Oil Stadium.
Oil Stadium now, but it used to be the RCA Dome. So I'm happy that I actually knew that it existed, and I wasn't crazy.
You got it.
And props for you for having the infinite fountain of knowledge and knowing exactly where it was.
Well, there we go. We got it. Tag teamed it, but now
teamwork makes the dream work.
Our Avalanche in Bobseen Park baseball too. They're the ones sitting in second place behind Whiting. They're 10-3. on the season, Whiting being 12-1. So this is going to be interesting nights going ahead, especially considering that both of these teams still have, let me double check, but I want to say it's 8 games at least. Let me double check. On this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. I was off by 1. 9 games for Avalanche still. So plenty of room to make up those 2 games.
You know, that's real. Like, we count out loud a lot on this show.
Yeah, we do.
Like, I just, because I think that's the first, like, I'm usually the one that does it when I'm counting up like the games we're having. I count out loud for some reason. I can't count in my head. So, like, we sound like the count from Sesame Street. 1, 2, 3. 3 games tonight on the network.
But I only talk about Avalanche and Whiting because I think that's going to be one of the biggest ones tonight. That's going to be on the network. It's going to be over at Scene 3, and it starts at 5:30 tonight.
That is going to be big. That is going to be very big. And we said last week when we were looking at the schedule that Whiting had games, a stretch of games that are all going to be important in the next, they play Tuesday, Thursday, and they have the Saturday, Sunday, I believe, 16U this week. So they have that's 4 games in the stretch of 6 days.
Yeah, and last time Whiting and Avalanche faced off was Sunday, May 29th, and Avalanche had actually played a game prior against Creekside that day, in which they won 11-2. They lost the second game in the day to Whiting 4-11. So Avalanche might be thinking, that loss, we were kind of out of arms. We didn't have everyone ready. We had some rest now. We're ready for them. You got 2 more matchups with Whiting, and hey, if things go your way, you can make these standings very interesting.
And they should have most of their arms available, Avalanche. And Whiting's coming off that game Sunday that they had to make up. So Avalanche might have a little bit more pitching depth in this game.
Last 2 games of the season, though, are at Whiting. So Whiting will be the home team in the next 2 games and the last 2 that they play Whiting this season.
So they're playing tonight and then 2 more against Whiting?
They're playing tonight, and then they're playing July 3rd against Whiting.
Okay. And the way you word that, I thought they had like 2 more after this. I was
No,
they're playing them 4 times?
No, 3 games in the season against Whiting.
All right, so Whiting will be the home team tonight, and that'll be an advantage for Whiting. But I think the Avalanche have a pretty good chance to make this competitive.
Avalanche have had a really solid season this year, too. And, I mean, as a team, you look at what they've been able to do. Batting-wise, they're batting over 308 as a team. And then you just swing that over pitching-wise, they're holding teams under 4 runs a game, 3.97 ERA, holding teams to a 208 batting average. That's just a recipe for success. You're batting 100 points higher than what your pitchers are allowing the teams to. I think that's gonna spell success for a lot of teams.
That's comparable to Whiting. Whiting's numbers are just a little bit more impressive with their team batting average, their team ERA, and their team probably their team WHIP is probably pretty good too.
Here's a couple of names too. I've talked about Noah Filson on the show before as a pitcher that can rake. He's definitely showcased that. He's batting .436, .511 on base percentage as well, and that is in the 12 games played. How about this name too? Soren Hedrick. He's batting .444, .531 on base percentage as well, having himself a nice little year.
Soren sounds like it could be something from Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah, I think you've said that before. Honestly, that sounds familiar. Yeah,
The middle school game nerd in me, when I used to be like into those RPGs, I think it was actually Kingdom Hearts. I think Soren is in Kingdom Hearts. So
I think it's Sora is the kingdom.
Is it Sora?
I think it might be Sora. But yeah, you're on the right track.
Look,
It's
been a minute. It's been a minute. That's 8th grade Anthony talking right now.
But no, that's a big game coming up tonight in the 16U realm, and that Livy division. It's not for first place, but it's one for Avalanche. If they want to take hold of first place, this is one that they need.
It's not for first place tonight, but like you said, it's one that it's almost a must win if you want to stay in the race.
I mean, you cut it down to 1 game, and then it becomes 2. Who knows what could happen in between now and July 3rd when you play them again.
You win tonight, then all you have to do is keep pace with them until you meet them again.
Exactly. And then who knows, like I said, between now and July 3rd, there's a lot of time between now and then when you face them again. So who knows what could happen in those 2 weeks.
Well, they would love to win tonight and then get some help down the road, and then they don't have to. It doesn't have to come down to one game for the first place.
Yeah,
that would be Avalanche's biggest dream. But the way Whiting's playing right now, you might have to just win both the last 2 games of the season against them, and win all the games between.
There's actually 6 games going on tonight too for 16U, so some makeup games. So it's a couple teams playing twice even tonight as well.
Let's go over the schedule, Ty. I will tag team this like we have all day. You read off who's playing when, and then I'll tell you who has the call on the game.
All right, looking down the line, Eagleware will be taking on Ballistic at Scene 1, 5:30 p.m.
All right, Bob Zanny will be on the call there on Scene 1 at 5:30.
And then following at 8, it's Prospects taking on Athletics at Scene 1 at 8 p.m.
Bob Zanny doing the doubleheader, so he'll be on that call as well.
Then on Scene 2, we got Creekside taking on Nightline at 5:30.
Matt Mayer taking care of this one at 5:30 on Scene 2.
Before Ballistic will take on Creekside on Scene 2 at 8.
Matt Mayer doing double duty and taking the doubleheader on Scene 2.
And then Scene 3 has Avalanche and Whiting, as we mentioned, at 5:30 to start.
Dom O'Brien on the call there.
And then Astros taking on Dura Edge at 8 p.m. And what a nice matchup that is, too, because that's 1 and 2 in the Hernandez division. So Dom O'Brien got a nice little 1-2 fight for the divisions.
He's got the highlight games on Scene 3. Dom O'Brien on the call for both of them.
Yeah, Dura Edge sitting at 7 and 6, Astros 9 and 4 in that Hernandez division. So literally same case with Avalanche and Whiting. Both teams 2 games back. This is almost a must-win situation for both Dura Edge and Astro. And when we look at Dura Edge's schedule too, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're also in the same boat in that they have 2 with Astro. Yeah, they play Astro today, and then they play them June 28th. Again, where Dura Edge is going to be the home team. So this is a case where we can see some shakeups happen in the division as far as where teams are going to be competing, where they're going to be laying things out in these final couple weeks.
I think all eyes that are not committed to Scene 1 and 2 are going to be on Scene 3 tonight.
If you're watching just as a casual fan and you don't really have like a dog or a team that you're rooting for, you just want to see some really good baseball with some storyline, I guess, added to it, Scene 3 is your place to go for the doubleheader, 5:30 and 8 o'clock. Both of these teams, it's a battle of 1 and 2 in the divisions, in the Hernandez and the Livy division. And the Avalanche and Dura Edge looking to go and get a big win against Astro and Whiting.
And if that wasn't enough to entice you, let me tell you, Dom O'Brien is a heck of an announcer, so you're going to be treated with a really good call to both those games as well. Like, if you haven't heard Dom O'Brien call a game yet, 1, have you been living under a Ysn rock, because he's been doing it for a while now? And 2, get on Scene tonight, because he's really good at his craft, and he's going to give you a heck of a show tonight for both those really important 16U games on Scene 3.
It's going to be a very fun night. Dom O'Brien is a perfect escort for you throughout the entire night too. So he's going to definitely be making sure that he takes care of these games, and they're going to be a great call too. And he's had some highlight games throughout his career over at JFK as well.
He is responsible for one of my favorite kind of off the game video content, social media content videos we've had this year. And that was, I don't think he did the game, but I think he was in attendance when Niles beat Canfield. And he just got right in on their celebration with the phone. It was like, partying with the Dragons. And that was one of the coolest videos I think we've posted on Instagram all baseball season.
That's awesome too. That's awesome. And I mean, Dom O'Brien, always the watchful sports side too. So he's going to make sure you guys are taken care of tonight on Scene 3.
He's a character. He's going to have some fun tonight. And so is Bob Zanny and Matt Meyer. They're both doing double duty on Scene 1 and 2 as well. We want to give a tip of the hat to those two.
Bob Zanny is a legend in Struthers.
Oh, he's a legend everywhere. I think it's harder than people realize to go and do 2 games in one night. I mean, doubleheaders, especially in baseball, because you have a lot of time to fill. You're kind of trying to talk a lot. It can really take it out of you. So props to them for doing a doubleheader tonight. All 3 of those announcers doing doubleheaders at 5:30 and 8. It's a late night. You're not going to get out of there until probably 10 o'clock. So props to them for giving up their Tuesday night and doing games for us at Bob's Scene Park.
Bob's a very selfless human being too, as far as just what he's willing to give. Always for the kids, man. He's doing the announcing too, to make sure they have a voice behind him. And then he does so much in Struthers as well.
When we see announcers come out of Struthers and start, either they're starting to work for YSN or they go into other media endeavors, Bob Zanny is directly responsible for that, for what he does for the kids that like to broadcast at Struthers. If you've ever watched a Struthers basketball game or a Struthers volleyball game, he's there, he's on the call, but his job is basically just to hold the reins and let the kids kind of do what they're going to do. And he does a great job directing them. They have the multi-camera setup, so he's in charge of making sure that whoever is doing the cameras that night are doing their job. And I think he molds a really good broadcasting core and broadcasting program down there at Struthers High School.
No doubt, and I think it's critically important what Bob Zanny has done for this community too, and for YSN. Is he's always working hard too for these kids and for this community too. And like I said, he's a legend in Struthers, he's a legend in YSN, and he's a legend in the area too.
So yeah, you guys that have been doing stuff for YSN for a while, and Matt Mayer, who stepped on the scene for this baseball season, who his name has been, well into our schedule for high school baseball season, and now he's helping out big time with Class B. I honestly haven't had the chance to meet Matt yet, but when I do, I'm going to shake his hand very tight because he's putting in Omen's work and doing it for, just kind of throwing in the deep end. I think he was throwing in the deep end for baseball season. Let's say go do it. Now he's doing double headers at Scene. He has bought into the program very, very, very quick.
I myself neither have met him, but I've seen his name on the schedule plenty of times, and Double M or Eminem, whatever you want to call him, he's definitely tearing it up for us this season too. And
Matt, hit us up. If you were an Eminem, what color do you want to be? So we can call you the red Eminem or the yellow Eminem or blue or whatever color you want to be.
Let us know. He's been grabbing that Bob Scene flag though and just waving it as I've seen him literally almost at the ballpark every single day. It seems like.
Well, let's just look. I think he was there last night. He was. He'll be there tonight. He's there on Wednesday. He's there on Thursday. And he'll graciously take Friday off. So he's there from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He'll have the night off on Friday, and then he'll come back on Saturday and do a doubleheader.
So yeah, we have to give him one day off, right? We give him one day off. He has been working so hard down at Bob Scene Park and doing a great job at it too. I get to hear his voice. Like I said, I haven't met him, but I've gotten to hear his voice when I tune into Scene. And just
we don't operate a sweatshop here at YSN.
No. But I get to hear his voice all the time when I'm browsing Scene games and seeing what's going on down at the ballpark night to night. And he's always at one of the fields, it seems like.
Well, he'll have a good matchup twice today as he's on once again the doubleheader on Scene 2. Bob Zanny will be on Scene 1, and then Dom O'Brien will be locking down Scene 3.
I'm excited for these games tonight too. Like we said, Scene 3 is going to be certainly interesting with those games too. That's kind of the highlight games as far as storyline is concerned. But there's still some great matchups happening outside of that too. And we talked about Scene 2, Creekside Ballistic taking on each other, and prior to that, Creekside takes on Nightline too. So that Creekside Ballistic matchup, I'm excited because I got a chance to see what Ballistic was able to do offensively, and boy, oh boy, they were exciting. And for Creekside right now, sitting at 9-3, they got 5-7 Ballistic in their division, and they got 4-9 Nightline outside of their division. These are two games that can propel Creekside back into those standings because right now they're sitting at 9-3, with Whiting being 12-1, Avalanche 10-3, and they're only playing one game, and it's against each other. So Creekside could, if all things go right, end up 11-3, and Avalanche drop, all of a sudden Creekside's sitting in second.
I also want to give a shout out to our ace photographer, Gary Leininger, who will be down at the ballpark tonight. So make sure after the games tonight, if you have an interest in those players and you want pictures of your favorite athletes in Class B baseball, make sure to head over to our Smug Mug, and their pictures that Gary takes are available for purchase, and they're all archived on the YSN Smug Mug. And I want to give a shout out to him because he's been doing a lot of work for us this summer, but he's also been doing a lot of work for the Dairy Queen that he owns down in Lisbon this summer. He's going to be working. I was texting him before the show. He's going to be putting in a 13-hour day on Sunday. Like, how many people give up a whole Sunday for their passion? But he's doing it. He's going to be working down there on Sunday morning, starting at 9, and he has to work all the way until 10 at night at Dairy Queen. So putting in Omen's work, and he better bring me some ice cream cones for this shout out. That's all I'm saying.
You're calling him out. No, they
Bring
need
me
him
some-
out there, man. He's got to cool them off. It's going to be some hot days ahead.
Bring me some dilly bars.
They need their DQ. DQ, the place to stop too. And go check out Gary's DQ down in Lisbon. He does a great job for us too with the pictures, and he does a great job down there as well. I always see him promoting stuff on socials.
Don't know how it happened. Don't know where it came about. His nickname for me is Snoop. He always calls me Snoop.
Snoop.
Don't know why. I've never went like faux shizzle to him or anything like that. But his nickname for me is Snoop. What do you
I
mean,
love our
Snoop?
Garys. Gary Leininger, Gary Altizer. I like all our Garys too.
Garys are cool guys. I've never met a bad Gary. Now I've only met 2 of them, and those are the 2 I've met. But
that's the only 2 Gary. Well, I've met a couple Garys actually outside of that, but all the Garys I've met have been cool.
But yeah, no, we've had some good luck with Garys in our past. So
what are you talking
maybe
about?
we should just aim for Garys when we're hiring people. Or is your name Gary? Well, then you are a good dude.
Garys. That is one of the weirdest quotes I've ever. We've had good luck with Garys. Oh,
you know, hey, it's not as weird as the cherry on top of the pie.
Oh man, that was
cherry on the cake?
cherry on the pie or whatever it was.
Cherry on the pie
that you were talking about.
I think I was aiming for cherry on the cake, but
I think just the cherry on top is what you were aiming.
What you're putting it on top of, it's totally up to you. I put it on top of cake or a milkshake. Actually, milkshake with the cherry is pretty good.
I don't do the maraschino cherries. I can't do the candy like cherries. I don't like them at all. Not a big fan. But anyway, going into 16U, because I just wanted to talk about these.
You're gonna get us back on track, Ty.
These 2 teams and these teams that are going on at Scene 3. These team stats. I just diving into them. I mentioned the 308 batting average, and you mentioned the batting average of Whiting sitting above that, just above that at 352. Whiting also just a little bit better in the batting average against department pitching wise at 182. I think the biggest thing, though, looking at it like just stats outside of it, just straight numbers, looking at the walk total, I think it's going to be interesting because the pitching for Avalanche has walked 59 batters this season. Whiting's only walked 29. That's a number that's, I think, going to be a big determining factor in this game, and where Avalanche cannot let free passes beat them against a Whiting, because Whiting is too good of a team that if you're giving them free guys on base, they're going to be able to get a big time hit sooner or later.
Can we talk about how? I mean, we skimmed over it like it was nothing, but 182 is your batting average against for a pitching staff.
Yep.
Against Class B baseball, which is basically hand-picked all-star teams up and down the rosters. Yeah, I'm batting average against 182.
The team pitching whip too, and that's walks and hits. And a single 1.08. So almost less than one person is getting on base an inning for them. And that's the whole pitching staff.
For people that don't know, like a good whip, maybe like what would you say, a high ones, like a pretty good whip.
Yeah, if you have it like in the ones too, like especially like 1.5.
That's talking about like a one pitcher, a team good whip.
Yeah,
maybe closer to 2. So a whip for the team of 1.08. That's incredible.
It's dangerous to see what they've done, and like I said, 29 walks to 76 strikeouts is a big telling number as far as what the pitching staff has done. But here's the biggest thing too. I talked about walks. I want to flip it on its head too. Talk about the walks that both teams have earned. This is where it gets a little bit closer. 63 for Avalanche, 68 for Whiting. But the pitching staffs and what the walks allow is what's going to be the big determining factor. And Avalanche allowing 30 more. They cannot let free passes beat them by their pitchers tonight.
That great point, because Whiting is too good to give free bases to, whether it be walks or errors. You got to make sure that when the out is available to get, that you make the play.
And looking at the runs that they've been able to produce, it's 138 runs that they've scored as a team this season, but 107 of them are RBIs. So
if this stat was kept, which I don't think it is on the site, but I would wager that the swing and miss rate for Avalanche pitching is probably fairly high, because usually you see swing and miss rate paired with walks that are a little bit high when you're talking about a team, because obviously when you're getting swing and misses, you're also getting balls out of the strike zone that you're looking for guys to chase. So when you run up against a guy that isn't chasing, then you're going to walk him. So I'm guessing that the swing and miss rate for Avalanche pitching is also fairly high.
Absolutely. It is for Avalanche pitching too. The Avalanche pitching has actually drawn more strikeouts than Whiting, 91 to 76. So you're absolutely correct in that. And saying that too, those 15 strikeouts more, that's where you got to be careful though, because Whiting is a team though, when you look at the strikeouts that they've had as a team, it gets a little bit more hairy as batters. They've only struck out 46 times this season as opposed to walking 68. Where Avalanche
that is a great ratio.
66 times to 63 walks. So almost more walks than strikeouts for Avalanche. That's a good ratio too, but a great ratio for Whiting. So that's another thing. Will pitchers be able to draw a lot of strikeouts here against Whiting? Because we're now going to see Avalanche at full strength. I don't think we saw them that first time that these two teams met each other.
Yeah, because they were playing the second game of a doubleheader. So they were, no one makes excuses. There are no moral victories in baseball, of course, but to say that Avalanche came into that game as the fresher team would be ludicrous, because obviously they played twice and it was Whiting's first game of the day.
But no doubt, I think those are going to be some interesting numbers to look at for this particular game. But on base percentage for both teams too, 464 for Whiting, 416 for Avalanche, both sporting over 400 on base percentages as a team. So anybody's game too. That's a close enough number. I know 50 points is a decent amount between 464 and 416, but if you're getting on base 40% of the time, you got a chance to beat anybody. And this is not a game that Whiting has the numbers that lean in their favor, but I do not count out the Avalanche at all in this one. I think they're hungry, and I think they're looking to really showcase that they're better than that 11-4 loss earlier in the season.
Basically, what we're saying is get on ysnlive.com and watch that game.
That's the first game too of the night before we go into Dura Edge and Astra, which we'll talk about those ones as well. But you're going to want to watch that game tonight, folks. It's going to be a big one in that Livy division, and a lot of implications on where this division is going to head. Lean on tonight, because if Whiting wins, they pretty much right now, especially with that win they got over Creekside recently, is Sunday. They win this one, they really remove.
They're in the driver's seat.
Yeah, they remove a lot.
It's not officially clinched, but they're definitely in the driver's seat for the league for the division if they win this game. And so is Astro Falcons. They're gonna be in the driver's seat if they win this game against Dura Edge.
This is a matchup too with the team stats. When you look at them, that Hernandez division, I've seen Ballistic come out of that Hernandez division, and they can hit. They can't hit, or excuse me, the other division, and they can hit. But I've seen Dura Edge go in, and they can hit is what I meant too. That both teams put up a lot of offense in that game. And looking at what Dura Edge has been able to do this season, average-wise, they're batting .333. Their on-base percentage, .457, just under what Whiting's is at .460. So this is a team that offense, they know offense. It's not a struggle point for them. It's not something that confuses them. They know how to get on base and score.
When you're looking at Astro Falcons, I think they've been a different team ever since that slow start that they had back in the beginning of the season.
They really have kicked it up too. And I mean, looking at that schedule, they dropped a few of those games, but now they're on a 4-game winning streak, and including a win against Dura Edge 4-2 this past Saturday too on June 18th. So this is a team that is riding all sorts of confidence going into this game too. And why not? Because the pitching of Astro has been just what we expected. 2.49 ERA, 1.65 batting average against right now.
They played each other 3 days ago. There are going to be no secrets between these two teams either, which is going to be even more of a reason to watch this game tonight.
Absolutely. 44 walks to 96 strikeouts by Astro.
That's a good ratio.
We talked about Dura Edge. They know offense, but Astro, they've known pitching, and they've known it for a long time. They've been more than acquaintances with pitching for a long time.
When you're going up against strikeout pitchers, you got to be aggressive early in the count because obviously you do not want to fall down 0-2, 1-2 to pitchers that have strikeout stuff like Astros obviously do. So looking for Dura Edge to probably be pretty aggressive early in the count and try to get the best pitches they can before they fall down 0-2.
And 13 games, no shutouts for Dura Edge pitching, 3 for Astro. That's a big number to look at, I think, too.
But like we said, it was 4-2 on Saturday. So it was a competitive game on Saturday. It should be a competitive game tonight. And you better watch it on ysnlive.com. To find these games, very easy, ysnlive.com/live. It'll give you the list of all the games on the network tonight. Just click on the game that you want to watch and then scroll past the sponsors and find the play button on the video window. Hit play, it's free, and boom, there you go. We'll also have Mahoning Valley Scrappers audio only tonight as Richie Giuliano will be back in Eastwood Field for the call. We'll talk about the Scrappers and what they're looking to do tonight and more when we get back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These 3 values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
We are Kent State in the Valley. Start and finish one of more than 25 bachelor's or associate degree programs, or start one of Kent State's 280 majors. With low tuition, public, and plenty of scholarship opportunities, we will help you maximize your education and minimize student debt. Enjoy the benefits of a smaller campus with all the opportunities of a large university. Save money, stay close to home. Apply today by visiting kent.edu/Trumbull.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit WRSwealth.com. Good luck, athletes!
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. As we said before the break, the Scrappers will be in action tonight at 7:05 from Eastwood Field. Richie Giuliano will be on the call. Last night, the Scrappers dropped their first home game of the season as they lost to Trenton 6-4. Ty, it was a back-and-forth game. Trenton tied it up in the 8th at 4 and then scored 2 runs in the top of the 9th to take the 6-4 lead, and then their closer shut the door with 3 straight strikeouts in the bottom of the 9th to get the win 6-4.
Yeah, baseball can be fickle sometimes, and momentum can be fickle because you feel like you have the game wrapped up in all but 2 of the innings, too, where it flips on its head, and that's exactly what Trenton did. They flipped it on its head, and they made sure they left Eastwood Field that night, and leaving the Scrappers feeling like they may have left something on the field that night, too. And definitely ones where they're gonna have to bounce back. Like we said, they've gone through their struggles now. They're dropping a couple of games, starting to taste a little bit more of what down to earth is really like now as far as the sport is concerned. How do you get back on riding those high waves, though, is the question for Mahoning Valley.
Some other scores from the Draft League from last night as well, as we get them on the Draft League scoreboard. Frederick beat State College 7-3. West Virginia helped out the Scrappers by beating Williamsport 13-4. Big win for the West Virginia Black Bears, who have been struggling this season. And then, of course, Trenton beats Mahoning Valley Scrappers 6-4. So that means the standings stay the same, as both Scrappers and Williamsport both lose. And you'll see it, the standings still, those two log jammed at the top with now records of 10-6 for both of them. So the Scrappers do lose, but they get a gift from West Virginia, who's right now at the bottom of the bottom of the league with a 5-10 record now. So they get a gift, and they get some help to stay in first place for the time being. They have another game against Trenton tonight at 7:05.
I'm excited for it, too, because they're going to have to try to bounce back in this one and showcase that they can beat this team, too, especially after last night, too, and you leave it on the field like that, and you might have felt like you might have dropped one that you shouldn't have, but there's always a handful of games you feel like you should win it, you don't. There's always a few games in a season that you feel like you should lose and you don't. So hopefully things balance out and you come back down with a good game plan, and you kind of let all that bugaboo and all that the mentality of last night too, and how taxing that could be. Let it all go going into tonight.
So now both Williamsport and the Scrappers only have one home loss on the season. Williamsport is 9-1. The Scrappers are 7-1. But the Scrappers, they got to right the ship. They're on a 5-game losing streak right now. They're still in first place, but after the start they had, they want to find a way to get momentum back on track tonight against Trenton.
You're going to need to start tonight, and it's going to start with just that pitching too, especially late in innings. You know that these teams, you're not going to, when you get to these kind of leagues too, everyone's hungry. Everyone's looking to try to get wins too and up their stock. So you can never give up at bats, and you'll see that be the case too, especially in later innings.
Games tonight for the Draft League are just the same as they were last night. Scrappers will play Trenton. We'll have Williamsport playing West Virginia, and then Frederick will play State College all tonight in the Draft League, as these standings trying to get shaken up a little bit, and the Scrappers once again trying to hold on to first place with a win tonight. 7:05 will be first pitch, and the call will be with Richie Giuliano on ysnlive.com. You can find that on our live games page. Find that on the Scrappers page on YSN. Audio only, but it's a great call and it's a great time. So if you can't get out to Eastwood Field, make sure to tune into Richie Giuliano.
Yeah, Richie always does a great job with the Scrappers too. So look forward to that too tonight. It's going to be a 7:00 start, so it's going to be dead set in the middle of these two games at scene. So we literally got you covered from pillar to post tonight, yet again on YSN.
It is Tops Tuesday discount pizza slice night. So make sure to get some pizza while you're there as well. That is the promotion for tonight is Tops Tuesday discount pizza slice night. Also, want to remind everyone there's a senior discount for tickets, and you can get tickets on the link on their social media page, MLBDraftLeague.com/Mahoning Valley Strappers will get you tickets to the game tonight. Obviously, they'll also have the video stream from the Draft League. You can listen to us on the audio-only stream as well. So make sure to head over to Mahoning Valley Scrappers on all your social media platforms for more information on how to get tickets for tonight's game.
Yep, we'll get you. We get you covered here too with the audio only broadcast too. If you can't make it out, but hey, with this good weather that we're going to be having, take advantage of it. Go out there and support some of these games.
Storm Tracker 21 app. Let's look at it and see what we have going into tonight. It's going to be sunny all night. The high for today is 93. And at first pitch for the Class B games, it will be 93 at 5:30, and then cool off a little bit. I mean, I don't know if you're counting 2 degrees. It'll be 91 at first pitch at the Scrappers.
That's, I mean, that's almost. I mean, with humidity, that's summer right there. That's not even anything else but summer. That's summers in Ohio, and that's what we expect, right?
Get your sun hat, get your sunscreen, make sure you're safe out there in the sun. And then it'll dip down a little bit for the second round of Class B games. When the sun sets, it'll drop down to 84. So you might get a little bit cooled off if you're staying for the late games at Scene Park.
Absolutely, and bring a jacket, bring some blankets.
No, it's not going to be that cold. Like it's 84. Let's be ties out here. Like bring a jacket. It's under.
Bring a jacket, bring some blankets too. Anthony wants to call a crisis because it's going to be 84 and cool down. I don't know why you were saying like it's a 7-degree difference, and you said it's cooling down. Oh, now Ant's not talking. Oh, he's muted. That's why. Oh, he took out his mic. What did you do?
I was coughing. That's why I full screened you so I could cough without looking like I'm dying on the air.
Mic or broke your mic for a second.
Nah, we're good. We're all good. But yeah, 80. It's gonna drop 7, and then by the time it gets to 10, it's gonna be 81. So bring the blankets.
Aaron said it's cooling down.
It is cooling down. That is the definition. When the temperature drops, that is the definition of cooling down.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was to dramatically cool down.
I was just playing into it too. That's funny too. You made a little bit of a big deal about it. So bring your jackets and blankets.
Never said that. You said that.
84. I did say that.
So should be good. Tomorrow there's a slight chance of thunderstorms, but it's small. Thursday and Friday are sunny, and Saturday sunny as well. So we should be good for the week as far as baseball goes.
I had to dodge some rain last night at that home run derby, I tell you, and I was a little.
Can we talk about that? I forgot about that. Can we talk about that and what the experience was like down there? Because I tuned in, and the girl that was winning the home run derby, oh my gosh, could she mash? Iris, right?
Well, there was Iris Murphy that was winning.
Iris Murphy was just mashing the ball.
She was winning it, and then it was up until the last at bat too. And Cece Busico needed to hit, I think it was 8 home runs. I could be corrected, but I think it was 8. And I think she hit 8 to win it, 7 to tie. And I think she hit exactly 8, walked it off, and won the whole competition too. So we I
missed it. I thought no one was going to beat Iris. I tuned out. That's so stupid.
I got some interviews with
Iris had like 17 total. I said, this girl's running away with it. And apparently not.
It was a big performance on the softball side, and a lot of just shots to center. The one shot hit my table that I had, just took out my water, just went because I was set up in center field. The only thing I wish I had a 2-cam setup. If there was ever a time to have one in center field and one behind the plate, so you could just kind of see where it lands. But
so you could see Ty get taken out by a home run.
Yeah, but I wanted to go for that center field cam just so I could really get a good view on the swings of these kids. And I mean, the swings were awesome too, and these kids were awesome. they were able to. I commented it on it too. The amount of kids that are able to just hit the ball where it's pitched to, that could hit it left, center, right, no matter which side of the plate they bat on. They can go opposite, pull it, go straight away center with it. I mean, the talent we see, and just a lot of nice looking swings from 9, 10, 11-year-olds. Like, it just showcases that the sport is alive and well, especially in the youth ages in the area too. And I think talent level, especially in the area, is going to be up there for years to come.
They're starting younger, which means they're getting better faster. And
exactly. These kids too. Evan Diefendorfer. I mean, what a great name, right? Too. Evan Diefendorfer wins it for the boys. This kid was putting out, like to say, Wyndham tanks over center field. He was hitting the dugout on the field behind me. He was taking the dugout out on the field behind me, and it was just peppering the fences too on the field behind me on the other side of center field. Like,
I can see him being like that kid from Angels in the Outfield that walks up with like 4 bats on his shoulder and tosses the 3, and then just like, you know.
I know it's the big like bat too. Like, oh man, no, these kids are amazing too, and 9-year-olds out there that are just tearing it up. It's incredible to see the youth be so talented in the game, and just being able to talk with them, being able to talk with the parents. What a cool event too that Little League brought on. And
it went a lot deeper than just the game. I know they were there for a special cause, which we were happy to kind of highlight. You had the write up for it. It was a great cause to benefit things that go way past baseball and softball.
Yeah, with the Gaskell family having to deal with what they have. I mean, he's such a battler too, and I mean, we got a chance to see him. We had the drawing, and he got to pull the ticket. Oh, it's such in great spirits too. What a nice kid, and I mean, he's a great fighter as well, and he's excited continuing T-ball as well. So we're excited for him to continue his career as well in baseball, softball.
I mean, he is going through something that no one at that age should have to go through in this world, but it's a reality that they do. And anytime we can be a part of something that gives back, we love to do it.
And just amazing that these kids do. And we've talked about stories like this before in different contexts, but these kids always have like the best attitudes about everything too. Still in the brighter spirits too. And I mean, that's something that can humble you too. If you've never gotten a chance to be a part of an event like that too, or just seeing that, or just seeing kids have to go through stuff like that, very real life things that are very, I guess you would say, adult themed, I guess, that things that they shouldn't have to go through, like you mentioned, be able to handle it and be able to handle it better than most adults. It's a humbling experience.
It is very hard to take away the wonder and the joy of a child.
Yeah.
And
not much can. And I think that's it's impressive.
And sometimes, you know, as an adult, you kind of wish that you could go back to that kind of stage in life when everything was just kind of full of childlike wonder, and it goes away at some point in your life, and you try to get it back as much as you can.
Yeah, no doubt. You're always kind of chasing for it, but these kids always in such great spirits too, and continuing to fight. But nice to be a part of something that was a little bit bigger and still a great event for all the kids too that participated. They all were having a blast.
Shout out the winners again.
It was Evan Diefendorfer and then CC Busico.
Awesome. What a night. And we were proud to be a part of it. Ty, you did a great job calling it. And I'm sure you had a lot of fun.
Oh, it was fun watching these kids just absolutely match the ball too. A lot of great softball swingers in it. I'm excited for the area and the talent level that's going to be coming up in the area.
We're going to see more future softball and baseball when the Little League districts start in just a little bit.
We're excited for it too. I can't wait.
And I'm sure some of those names from Austintown Community Baseball will be representing Austintown in those districts as well.
Absolutely. I'm sure we'll be able to see we'll be seeing Austintown represented very well too, and a lot of names too that I was familiar with, last names that I was familiar with, and yeah, a lot of families that in the Austintown community that have kids in high school right now that we're getting to know the names of right now. They're going to just be reloading us with more talent here in just a couple more years. So these names aren't going anywhere for us.
No, that's the one. Like the one thing about high school sports is if you think you're done with a family, you're probably not. There's probably other sisters or brothers waiting in the wings.
Cousin something. There's
Something.
a family around. Yeah.
You know, there's someone. I mean, and I think every school has that one name that has been there for like the last 12 years that like the name doesn't go away. It's there because the family's integrated into the school. Every school probably has one family that is this won't go away.
You'll get them at two. The one time when I was at Fitch, we had the DeFrancisco family that had a boy in basketball and 3 girls in girls basketball. So at the same time, too, there was 4 DeFranciscos playing basketball
for the longest time at Springfield, because I remember they were our rivals in high school. Like every team had some kind of Schuler on it.
I do remember Schulers too. Hearing Schulers,
and
name.
Even we had a couple of Schulers, but Springfield was popping them out like there was some kind of Schuler tree in the Tigers country or something. And then of course the first year that he wasn't, but for a long time their girls basketball coach was a Schuler as well.
The Schuler, I just think of Ferris Bueller every time you say Schuler. Schuler. That's Anthony announcing them too as they're coming off.
Here comes Schuler.
Schuler. When Anthony was a homer with South Range Broadcast, he's just like Schuler 3.
Lucky that South Range and Springfield don't play each other in sports too much anymore. I might revert back to my homer.
Schuler. That's it. That's the call for a 3.
Schuler.
That's like all the PA announcers 3 calls, like in the professionals. They just go monotone. Schuler 3.
Number 3, Ryan Schuler.
Just monotone.
Comes to the plate. He's got a good bat, and it's hit towards the line, and it's going to be a single.
Schuler.
And now we're gonna go right back.
Go right into the next one. We have the next one coming up too, as far as our shows going on tomorrow, same time, 12 to 2. And we're gonna have some guests coming on to tomorrow as far as our normal, what we usually expect on Wednesday, but we're gonna have some other Class B baseball guests going on tomorrow as well.
Anthony Miller from Astro Falcons 18U will be joining us at 1:15 tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll be on at 1:15. And just before Brian Tonar comes on at 1 o'clock, we're going to have Olindo Pizzone from Prospects 18U coming on at 12:30. We mentioned you've heard that Pizzone name before in Struthers softball community with Nicolina, and she tore it up for years over there with the Wildcats. She's going to UC softball, and we're going to get a chance to talk to our younger brother Olindo now.
Perfect segue when we were talking about family connections, and there's one right there.
Yeah, another one we're talking about, and we're going to get a chance to go a little bit deeper. We had Nicolina on earlier this year, too, so we're going to just round out the Pizzone family tree a little bit and get some more highlights on it with Olindo now going into Class B season.
And then also tomorrow we'll have coverage from Mill Creek Golf Course as well. We're trying to get a remote show. We're trying to work out the details to be Running Point live from Mill Creek. Maybe Ty will be there. Maybe we'll both be there, but we're trying our best to make sure that we can try to do that because they have something going on down there that I think is kind of big. They kind of big down there that we want to be a part of.
And if you're telling me I could go on a show and get a chance to go talk with Brian in person, I might have to just take you up on that offer too. So yeah, we're going to be looking to stay tuned for any confirmation too. We're going to get you updated on that, but we're looking to be remote for that big tournament going on tomorrow. And also for Brian's new tip and to talk with Brian live at the golf course.
We don't get to talk with him in person live too much.
Not too often. No, not too often at all. So it'll be exciting to be able to have him on.
Now, we did a running point show back in October live from Mill Creek Golf Course, so it would not be our first soiree over the new new era of Running Point to be live from Mill Creek Golf Course.
No, it would not either. And I mean, we've been down there right before basketball season, right in the middle of football season.
That was back in football season because our guest was Shane Lindstrom.
Yeah, we were dead in the middle of football season, and basketball season was just a couple weeks away.
We were literally after the show, we were scheduling basketball coaches to come on and do their season previews.
Yep. So we're circling back around. That's not going to be too far, but it wouldn't be our first time being down.
Although, as we proved at the top of the show, our date recollection is not great.
It's terrible. It's literally terrible. We were like a month off. We were saying July.
Let's remind people, we were sitting here thinking, oh, I don't know why, but we were thinking that the All-Star games were a little bit later in the year last year.
No.
And then DJ pops in like, no, the baseball game was a couple weeks before.
No.
The softball game is going to be 1 day difference.
He's like, here's the actual facts.
You morons. Here's some facts. Y'all are morons.
Fact. Spreading BS.
Y'all are idiots. Here you go.
No, but absolutely stay tuned. We're going to be talking about that going into the later portion of the week, too. We have our All-Star game coming up, folks. And if you missed the top half of the show, we talked about it a little bit just to circle back to that, too. Remind you before we get out of here. All-Star game coming up Saturday and Sunday. That is this weekend. Saturday, it's going to be at Bob Scene Park for the baseball All-Star game. Sunday, going to be at the YSU softball complex for the softball All-Star game. So get out there and support. It's going to be a great night for a great cause as YSN hosts the best area All-Star game around.
We are still announcing players for this baseball game as we speak. Andrew McRoberts from Lakeview has confirmed that he will be a member of the All-Star game. And then from Camel, we will have DeJuan Reynolds from the Red Devils to make sure that he is confirmed to be at the All-Star game. Softball announcements will still come. We'll have the announcements of that roster as well as that game happens on Sunday, but we are trying to dot our T's, cross our I's, and make sure we can get as many of these schools represented as possible.
No doubt. We're excited for that, and I can't wait to be a part of yet again another great All-Star game experience brought on by YSN.
One of the things that I want to reassure is we have invited someone from every school for both baseball and softball. So even if you don't see every school represented when Sunday and Saturday come along, every one of the YSN member schools has been at least given the opportunity to be represented. Now life gets in the way. It's the middle of summer. People are on vacations. People are having graduation parties. People are on travel tournaments. So we do our best, but every school has been invited and they have an opportunity to be represented at the YSN All-Star game.
We try to recognize as many players as we can, too. So we try to get their name out there and just make sure that they have the opportunity. But like we said, we understand that it's summer. That's the time. That's prime time for a lot of families to take vacation. And they're out there, and we're understanding of it here on YSN as well.
And you better take vacations while you're young because they don't come around too often once you get out of that, family, young teenager. Once you get into the adult world and you don't have a family of your own, then, it's kind of, you don't take lone vacations. Hey, I'm just going to go to the beach for a couple of weeks when I'm 30 years old and don't have a family. Yeah. That doesn't happen too often. So soak in summer, enjoy it. And we're going to still have a lot of all-stars at our all-star game on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, that's talking about this weekend, but don't forget tonight too, folks. Right after this show, we got our guys over at Casual Sports that's going to be taking you for the next hour up until 3 o'clock. And then DJ, as always, with Power Hour, will take you to 4. And then you just got to wait a little bit, hour and a half wait between that and first pitch start down at Bob Scene Park. But it's 16U night down in the ballpark. We talked about it. You talked about it, Anthony. We have Bob Zanny, Matt Mayer, and Dom O'Brien at these games too. And I guess real quickly to shout out the games, Bob Zanny is going to be at Scene 1 with Eagleware and Ballistic at 5:30, then at 8, Prospects and Athletics. Then we have Matt Mayer at Scene 2 with the first game at 5:30, Creekside going against Nightline. Game 2 is going to be 8 o'clock with Ballistic going against Creekside. And then over on Scene 3, it's going to be some premier matchups as well as Avalanche take on Whiting at 5:30, and then Astros take on Dura Edge, battle of 1 and 2 teams. That one's going to be at 8 o'clock as well. Dom O'Brien on the call for both of those.
So it's going to be a wild night in 16U. There's a lot of important games for the standings. Don't miss that. Like Ty said, Casual Sports Podcast coming up next from 2 to 3. Power Hour 3 to 4. 6 Class B games and Mahoning Valley Scrappers on the network tonight. That makes 7 games total on the network tonight. We're going to take a 22-hour break. We'll be back tomorrow from 12 to 2 with Alindo Pizzone, Brian Tolnar, and Anthony Miller, all joining the show tomorrow on the Wednesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Until then, I'm Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartell, and thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for another exciting